Hi, my name is Fred Koch. I run www.istrad-kristiansen here in Norway, and what we want to do tonight is we want to demonstrate some of the exercises that we do during the stabilization phase of training. We've had a lot of questions about it, so I figured I'd do this short CD so that people can get an idea of what exactly stabilizing muscles are. Tonight I've asked Gromadet from ski shooting to come and help me with this, and she'll be demonstrating some of these exercises. Now, first thing you might do is you might ask, what are stabilizing muscles? The stabilizing muscles are the muscles that allow movement to happen. So in other words, if you look at George here, we have stabilizing muscles, are all the little muscles around the scapula here. So for the arm to move in any sport, whether it be swimming or poling or any kind of sport, muscles around the scapula have to stabilize this movement. It's the same thing that happens in the legs. The muscles on the inside of the leg, and especially on the outside of the hip, stabilize any movement that the leg does. Whether you're pushing down, whether it's in swimming, these stabilizer muscles can actually be major importance in people that have been in sports for a long time because they tended to get weaker and weaker. If you give us 2 seconds, we'll be back and we'll start some demonstrations. First exercise we're going to do is for the inside of the ribs. It's called the terminal bench press. And what it does is it stabilizes the scapula from the front. So it's just underneath the arm. It stabilizes the scapula so it holds as a round movement or any kind of rotation of the shoulder movement occurs. It needs to be stabilized in the front. That's what this exercise is for. So we take the arms straight out from the body, right here. It's not a bench press, but it looks a lot like it, okay? Extend the arms up, and you'll notice here, we're just extending the shoulders forward. And that's all the exercise is. The test that we use is between 10 and 20 repetitions to find out exactly when this muscle gets tired. Okay? Next exercise we do we're continuing to work on the shoulder structure. So again, rather than going into the names of all the muscles that are around the shoulder, the scapula, what we'll do is we'll just show you the exercises that stabilize them. Because remember, you have muscles the whole area around in the back. So we're going to do 3 or 4 different exercises for this area so that we make sure that there's no weak links in the stabilization of the scapula and the shoulder area. Okay? Let me just go down here. So the basic exercise that we use here is called external rotation. So we're just rotating the arm outwards. The elbow stays in one place all the time. And you move as far as your body allows you to go. A lot of this will depend on the range of motion or the flexibility of your muscles. So we have number 1 is external rotation. And then for the same side, or we're laying aside, we do the opposite arm for internal rotation. So you're rotating in towards the body. You can see the elbow always stays in the same spot. Okay, great. Thank you. Now we go to the wrist area. During the season, for example, a lot of these exercises we really don't have time to do during the season or during the preseason. So that's why a lot of these little things that we're looking at to work at them now in the off season, like wrist curls, for instance. In many sports, if you're holding on to something or throwing or putting your hand in the water, the wrist can be a weakening factor in the movement of the sport. So we work the front of the wrist by rolling the weights down to the end and coming back up and roll back down and up. And always nice and slow, no fast movements. There's no contest with these exercises. It's just for the sports of it. Okay, now we do the other side. This is the back, the other side of the wrist. And you can see right here on Gramada the muscles that are working. So a lot of times when you do these exercises, you'll be able to actually see or feel the muscles that move these small stabilizer movements. Okay. Some of these exercises, we call them humiliating exercises because the movements are so particular to the muscle that you're working, you can't really use a lot of weight. Like a lot of people start with just 2 kilos on this. And the key is, you'll notice here, we fake it so that the elbows are out. What you're supposed to do is you have to keep the elbows in when you do the exercise so that they don't come outside the body. And again, they're working stabilizing muscles in the back. Now the next exercise we do is we just turn over, okay? And you'll notice when we're doing this, we're working one exercise, and usually we try to work the opposite motion at the same time, so during this period, exercises move really fast. And again, you can use a bar with this, or just a dumbbell, and we're just doing the opposite motion as we just did. You'll see, we just move very slowly, very precisely for the exercise and the muscle that we're trying to work. On this exercise, keep in mind, you don't come all the way up. You're only coming to here because that's where gravity stops taking over from the muscle. So we're down, we pull, and stop where the muscle stops. Okay. We talked about before the stabilizing muscles in the hips so that the legs can actually work harder, whether it be running, skiing, swimming, whatever sport. Especially with women, this muscle has a big effect on having knee problems. So it's the muscle right in the side of the leg here. It's called the gluteus minimus or maximus. And what it does is it moves the leg out. And the way we exercise, we come over here, and now we're exercising this muscle down here. We just lay here on our hips, and we come up. And all the way up, and all the way down. This is probably the key stabilizer muscle for any kind of sport. And if you want to try it, you'll feel it within 30 seconds. You don't even need to use weight. You can just do it 20 reps, and you'll feel it right away. And then you have to start to think, and that's one of the important things to think about when you're doing these stabilized motions. What effect this has on your sport when you go out and actually try to do the sport with these weak stabilizer muscles. Okay. In following with the opposite muscle, the other stabilizers are on the inside of the leg. Now you notice here we do it with a cable. We have our toe pointed out and pull with the heel across the body. I would rather use a cable with this because you'll notice not only does she have to pull across the body with this, but she has to stabilize the movement with the cable. And a lot of the machines that are on the market today, they limit the range of motion or how far you can go, and they also don't allow you to stabilize the movement, all the other little muscles in the hip. Again, in stabilizing for the leg area, we want to do the ankles. So this is a real common exercise called the calf raise. It works the back of the leg and it stabilizes the ankle. It also works with when you're stopping and running, it helps to take the force away from the knees. One exercise that people really don't ever work is, we always talk about working one area and then working the other area. But in the lower part of the leg, people really never work the front of the leg. So we have an exercise for that. It's called the anterior tibia. So if all you do is you lighten the weight up, and now what you're doing is you're pulling the toes back, working this muscle right in the front of the leg. This is a major stabilizing muscle for the ankle and for the knee area, but it also balances out the back of the leg area. So again, there's a couple of really important exercises we need to do, this being one of them for stabilizing of the foot and the ankle. All right. This stabilizing phase will probably take, we use it really in a transition period of the year when the athlete needs to have rest, but we also need to do something to stay in shape. So rather than starting to heavy strength training again, we use stabilizer muscles to make the body active, to keep it going, and to keep everything moving forward for the yearly plan. we'd like to thank you. Thank our cameraman too, because he's tired from his long vacation. And I'd like to thank you for your time. Have a great day.